Thank you, Gareth, for joining us today at our virtual event. Could you just start by introducing yourself and your position at Skies, please?
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. My name's Gareth Dixon, and I head up the customer side of the business, which includes marketing and the revenue side. Anything which is involving the customer, awareness and engagement with the residents, etc.
That's great, thank you. Could you tell us a bit more about Skies and what its aim is?
Sure. So the concept of Skies is to build an online community for apartment dwellers that are looking to make the most of their limited outdoor space. In other words, their balcony or their terrace. The number of people living in apartments is growing every year. They have these unique challenges around space or lack of outdoor space, lack of storage space maybe, lack of entertaining space could be, and maybe loneliness as well, and lack of connection with other people. So the whole point of Skies is to provide a platform that allows that community to connect with other people, get insights, get knowledge, and help each other out. That's what community is all about. And that's on an online platform to make it easy. So at the minute we're in the UK and we're seeing interesting insights from other parts of the world as well. So watch this space, we could broaden our horizons.
That's great, thank you. Obviously with lockdown and people being in their apartments more and being restricted on being able to go out, how has the use of balconies changed? And do you see this being a continued trend?
I think it has changed. We've seen particularly a big rise in these sort of mini gardens, growing your own food. Shopping's been more tricky with the COVID restrictions, etc. And people have had more spare time, more time at home, maybe more time to occupy their kids and family, etc. And so gardening has become a real trend, and we've seen a massive rise in that across social media and across the interest in the articles that we're publishing ourselves. So I can imagine that is going to grow. COVID is still with us very much, and I think it's made people realise that COVID or no COVID, it's important to have that outdoor space. So I think using it for a bit of recreation, not just a place to store your bike and your washing and all the other junk, it's actually a place to make the most of. It's your only outdoor space, so why wouldn't you? I think it's been a good change, good transition.
We've actually seen lots of media of different people doing things out on their balconies during lockdown. Was there anything that particularly stood out to you that you heard about?
Yes, I think the one that really stands out, we've heard loads of great stories, Kelly, but the one that really stands out was using the balcony as the means to do the NHS clap back in the early days of lockdown. So every Thursday, these communities would all come out on the balcony and they express this feeling of being all together, all being able to give back to the NHS and what they were doing. And rather than being shut indoors like they were, so many of them, because of the restrictions, it was an opportunity to actually connect with everyone and all be together in doing one thing. So that was probably the most affecting, touching thing for me. And it wasn't exactly for their own benefit, it was actually for the benefit of the wider community. So to me, that's really great. And that's the benefit of a community, is for others, not just about myself.
That's great. Yeah, so we've heard quite a few. I think one of my favourites was the guy that did the marathon on his balcony.
Yeah.
I think that was quite an achievement.
Yeah, we've seen balcony musicians recording songs, as you say, with the balcony marathon, people using it for different things, and all of a sudden they realise that this is like their window to the world, and they make the most of it. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. How are you working then with the residents to enhance their balcony experience?
So most of it is around education. So there's some balcony dwellers out there, balcony users out there that are great, and they've perhaps been doing it for a long time. I think what we're seeing is that people that have recently moved into an apartment or into that situation perhaps need a bit of help. There's so much you can search for online, etc. But there's nothing like actually sharing ideas with someone that's actually been there and done it before. So really what we're doing is just bringing the community together. So we're providing a place where knowledge can be shared and we're providing great content specific for balconies. And it's just accessibility really for that information, making it easy because it's unique challenges and they're unique people. So we provide a unique solution.
So how are we able to use our balconies to improve our well-being?
Well, I think you would know as better than anyone, Kelly, getting out in the fresh air and exercise is massively beneficial to our well-being. It's also a way to connect with others. And I remember one of the stories we had, a guy found that his balcony was exactly 2 meters apart from his next door neighbours. So even in COVID, he was able to connect in a socially distanced manner. So it's about getting out there and using it, I think. And everyone knows that a bit of exercise, a bit of fresh air and connection to other people does wonders for your well-being. So I think it's just a question of braving it and getting out there, making a start.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think actually like a lot of people have probably spent more time talking to their neighbours now than they ever have.
Exactly. And we've heard people say just that very same thing. You know, people they're never hardly spoken to, all of a sudden they're doing their shopping for them or whatever it is. So it's been many ways it's been excellent. The whole COVID thing has brought us closer together as a nation, as a people, and it's made us realise that we've got resources that we might not have thought we ever had.
So how exactly does the online community work, and how would someone go about joining?
It's very simple. At the moment, it's a website platform. We're looking at other ways to develop that as we go forward, but at the moment it's a website. It's full of great content, news bulletins on specific topics relating to balconies. Very soon we'll be adding more community type features, so that will allow our followers to submit their own ideas and content, maybe ask questions for feedback, maybe provide ratings on products that they've used in their balcony. And to me, that's when it becomes a real community, because it's not just one-way traffic, it's actually people helping each other. So it's very simple, www.skies.com. There's various newsletters you can sign up to keep in regular contact, and wealth of information there that we can be involved with. Very soon we'll be launching the Balconiers, which will be a focus group of residents that work on balcony-specific products. Really looking forward to that. That's when it really becomes exciting to me.
So having a look at your website, what experts have you been working with to help inspire those you work with?
Mainly it's been around gardening experts. So people like Isabel Palmer, who's known as the Balcony Gardener. She's written some great books on the subject and small space gardening. So it's not just balconies, but many people in urban environments have a small backyard or a balcony. And another guy we work closely with is Philip Dundas, Balcon Me. He's a specific balcony gardener living in London and working in London. There's lots of these type of people, and that's really what we're uncovering as we're digging into it more. There's these people everywhere that are great. It just needs a platform to bring them together and make them accessible to more of the residents.
That's great, thank you. We did actually do an interview with Phil at the beginning of COVID. So if anyone wants to see that interview, they can see it on the past events on Resibuild. But yeah, it's very interesting what he was saying about actually the possibilities of what you can actually achieve out on your balcony, gardening wise. It's quite interesting.
It's great, and getting a bit more exciting, we've come across people called the balcony bartender.
Okay.
And I think there's a balcony baker as well. So
oh, awesome.
Plenty of opportunities for fun.
Yeah. Okay. When you've been having your like meetings and interacting like with some of the residents, what safety concerns do people tend to have about balconies?
So mainly it's around the high winds and the danger of people or things falling off their balcony. It's pretty rare, fortunately, but what we're looking to do is provide more balcony specific solutions to these issues. Things like fire is a concern. But I think if we can provide more education to the residents so they understand the implications of discarding a cigarette butt could be very threatening for your neighbour below or above. But in the main, it's around the challenges for their loved ones and whether they're safe. Because if it's their only outdoor space, they want to be able to be sure that they can use it safely. And if you're 30 stories up, it's a bit different to if you're only on the ground floor. So I can totally understand that, and that's what we want to work towards, to make sure people can use their balconies safely.
Is there any particular precautions they should adopt when using their balconies?
So be aware of hazards and make a plan for them, just like you would in any garden. You don't leave dangerous things lying around if you've got children that could harm someone. We've put together a balcony safety guide recently, which is available on our website, which covers off some main concerns. But mainly, I think of your loved ones and those that are important to you, your children, your pets, the people that are going to use the balcony, and what could be a danger to them. Interestingly, some plants are harmful to some pets, for example, so it's worth doing a bit of research. But bit by bit, we're building it all up on the Skies platform, so I think most of the precautions are covered.
If anyone has any concerns about the safety of their balcony where they're living, where can they go to for help?
So if they have some real concerns, that they need to talk to their landlord, maybe their resident association. Every building is unique. We're in no place to advise in that. So if they have a concern, then they need to talk to the people that understand that building best, and that would be their landlord or their facilities company, maybe, that manages the facilities at the block. But if you have a concern, voice it. It's the safest way.
So for the benefit of a lot of like people that are attending today, when designing balconies or choosing a balcony to go on your development, what are the most important factors to consider?
I think consideration for privacy is key. So a balcony is on the outside of a building. It's very visible to everybody around. And for some people might enjoy that. Some people, it might prevent them using it. So is there some provisions that you can make when designing balconies that allow for more privacy, maybe sometimes, not all of the time, without the resident having to sort of add retrofitted awnings or various other things which could potentially be hazardous. So I think that's important. Privacy is key. Also space, how can we maximise the space when you're designing a building so that there's as much outdoor space as possible. When we've been talking to residents, we often ask them, if you had a magic wand, what would you change about your balcony? And mainly it's, I'd love a little bit more space. So that's one thing to consider, I think.
You kind of covered some of it on the previous question, but could you share any of your other learnings from meetings with the residents?
Yeah, so I think we've probably covered it, Kelly, but in the main, they've had their eyes opened over the last 6-7 months with this pandemic as to what is possible. But also it's how much it does now mean to them. So I think we'd encourage people that are building apartment blocks or providing balconies, etc., to consider that. It is really important factor. And the residents are now finding it even more important. So I think bear that in mind when you do your developments. What
new developments can we look forward to in 2021?
So from a Skies point of view, we recently kicked off a balcony gardening club, and we've given away over 3,000 packets of seeds to our subscribers, completely free. That'll be followed up with an email series with an in-house amateur gardener that will help people step by step on the growing journey, as we say. So we expect that to be developed further next year. The gardening bug seems to be biting a lot of people, so we want to be there to facilitate, and it's great fun. It's brilliant, and the reaction we've had has been phenomenal, so we look forward to building on that in 2021.
So I'd like to thank you for being with us today. If anyone does have any questions for Gareth, just enter them into the Slido link below, or if you're joining us on Zoom, then just add a question on Zoom, and we look forward to getting to the questions and answering any of them that they have. So thank you again, Gareth, and we'll see you again later.
Thanks, Kelly. Good to see you.